Let me go across to my colleague Nikunj Garg, who is joining us at this moment from Washington, D.C. Nikunj, thanks for being with us. Let me start by asking you, Prime Minister Modi is the fourth world leader to meet the president in this second inning. How significant is this, in fact, for the relationship between India and US?
Well, yes, that proposition certainly is reflective of the not only the strength that the Indo-US relationship carries, but also the fact that how consequential this relationship has become for the entire Capitol Hill. Remember, in the last 2 decades or so, there has not been a single administration on the Capitol Hill in the White House that has thought any lightly of the Indo-US relationship. Almost all the administrations, right from the time Prime Minister Vajpayee took those nano steps of transforming the landscape of Indo-US relationship, have been extremely serious about the nature of this relationship, about the consequence of this relationship. And look, who has President Trump been meeting since the time? It's not been not been a month since he has been inaugurated, and he has been meeting allies, old American allies like Jordan, like Egypt, like Israel, and all of them under a contingency. So that's a contingency plan of the administration where there's a situation contingent upon the United States, contingent upon the president himself. But when it comes to India, there is no contingency here. It's just the sheer strength of the relationship and the personal bonhomie. Let's not overlook the fact of the personal rapport and the personal bonhomie between President Trump and Prime Minister Modi that brings the strength to this relationship, the additional strength. In fact, I was talking to a ranking diplomat yesterday in Washington, D.C., and he told me that he does not remember a single occasion, which means that panning back to somewhere around 90s, he does not remember a single occasion where the apex of the political Indian leadership has been invited. And look, all these meetings do not happen at the behest of someone. These happen at the invitation of the host country, particularly when that country happens to be the United States of America. So in the 30 years or so that he could recall, that top-ranking diplomat on the DC, he says that he does not recall a single occasion when the apex of the Indian political leadership has been invited to Washington, D.C., to the White House so very quickly. So quite clearly, it reflects the strength of the relationship. It reflects the personal chemistry between the two leadership. It reflects the consequential nature of this relationship, Indo-US relationship between the two most consequential democracies in the world in the global arena. So the entire gamut of that relationship and its strength can certainly not be overlooked.
But Nikunj, there are a host of issues to deal with, from the threatening, trade tariff to the migration issue, where, what do you think the Indian side will lay the focus on?
Well, yes, there would be issues, and when you are dealing with nearly 1/4 of the humanity between the United States and India, we cover nearly 1/4 of the humanity. More critically, nearly half of the populations living under the democracies in the world. These are the two most important democracies in the world, the largest, the biggest, and the strongest. There would obviously be a whole host of issues ranging from trade, tariff, tech transfer, migration, both illegal and legal, and then the emerging world of the AI, from where the Prime Minister is also actually coming to Washington, D.C. after co-chairing that all-important AI summit in Paris, in France. So there would obviously be issues. But do remember one thing, that when there is personal chemistry, when the consequential nature of the relationship is evident to successive leaderships across the capitals, and when there is the growing realization of India's stature in the International Committee of Nations, the rightful place that India must occupy in the coming century at the international high table, and India wide, broad-based across the globe recognition of India's growing stature under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, then you don't have to worry too much about small, slender issues, slender, thorny issues on the side. What is important is that the key issues, the issues relating to people. Remember, you can have all the tech transfer, you can have all the technology in the world, and this is a capital. Remember, Washington, D.C. is a capital that can actually make you available the kind of capital and the kind of technology that you need to bring out a large swath of your population from out of poverty. A critical mission for Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Repeatedly, he points to the fact that under his successive administrations, nearly 25 crore people have been pulled out of poverty, and that is India's new emerging middle class. In fact, a bedrock of emerging prosperity for the global community of nations too, those 25 crore people. So you can have all of that, the tech transfers and the access to the financial capital that Washington, D.C. can ensure for you. But what is most important for democracies and will always remain most important and critical for democracies, that would be the centerpiece of the relationship, and that is people. So when it comes to people, the issues related to H-1B visas, social security, allowance, the right of allowance to work to their spouses, the H-1B visas holder, migration, both of legal and illegal nature from India's side, and from the American side also people-to-people contact. Those issues will remain extremely critical. You may say that in the terms of overall strength, they may occupy a slender space or not the center space, so to say. But being the democracies that both countries are, being the most vibrant democracies, most prosperous and most pulsating democracies that they are, people-to-people issues would occupy the center stage, and India would certainly wish to push the people-to-people case much, much harder than many people outside would imagine and would think that tech transfer, capital and technology would remain the focus of this deal.